Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon and welcome to the Fitton Center for Creative Arts. And it's December now. The first turkey has been put away. So I get to say Merry Christmas. We are in the season here at the Fitton Center. Yeah, I'll take a whoop woo and a ho ho ho. As you can see, we are right in the spirit here. I think we remember our Christmas tree for last year. Anybody was here for the Stadsecker? And thank you to the team. Our Christmas elves have been throughout the building putting up trees. This is going to take it's been taking some rides in the elevator, but literally it was wrapped in plastic last year. And re-bought out for this, and it'll be here for a few events. We've got lots of events going on, but I would like to thank the Ohio Arts Council, the City of Hamilton, ArtsWave in Cincinnati, and the Ohio Arts Council for their continued support of the arts here in Hamilton and throughout the great state of Ohio. Please put your hands together for them. Thank you. To our series sponsor, Ms. Kathy Klinks, thank you so very much, and Merry Christmas to you. We greatly appreciate it. To Jane Haas and Mike and Sue Samovisky, our sponsors for today, we appreciate it. Mike sends his regrets, but I think he bought me something for under the tree. The other thing I'd like to say is a huge shout out to our friends from Hamilton High Transitions team. So thank you so much for everything. Look out, we have a photographer in from the Journal News today, so they've been having their photograph taken. They're going to be in the newspaper, and they're going to do a feature article about the fantastic work they do in the community at the school and in partnership with us here at the Fitton Center. So we really greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah. Do we all enjoy Christmas dinner? Was it phenomenal? I cooked the pork tenderloin myself. True story. I've been here since 4 a.m. cooking. Mark is working the glazes, and Matt did the rolls. And 2 women in the kitchen too. So we'd like to thank them for turning up and helping us serve the incredible food that we serve. And to our friends over at TV Hamilton, thank you so much. And I have to say, standing behind the camera is a gentleman who may be 1 year older today. So somebody has a birthday today. Steve, we all got together, and we got you these gifts. So feel free to take them at the end of the show. But a huge happy birthday to our good friend, Steve Colwell from TV Hamilton. Happy birthday, Steve. We appreciate everything you do. Thank you so much. So lots going on here at the Fitton Center. Christmas is just getting started. Today we are doing this. Tomorrow we are doing the Santa Claus 2. We're doing a sensory film screening with our good friends at Butler County Board of Developmental Disabilities. Tonight we're going to be out at the Jingle Mingle. We're taking over the huge LED screen there in the living room at the Foundry there with the Fitton Center and our friends from the Chamber. On Friday night we have reindeer games downstairs in the theater, so if you're looking for something for the kids for Fitton Family Fridays, this Friday night, that's a lot of F's, we are doing that on Friday night. And then next Saturday, we have the big one. We have our Pop Rock Christmas. There's a handful of tickets ready for that, but that is going to be a fantastic show. They're a great band. There are 4 or 5 different singers going to be on stage. It's going to be something a little different, but always I like to say those Christmas classics and some modern tunes as well. And by modern tunes, I meant Mariah Carey and Wham and things like that, and then I realized they were all 40 years old. So I don't know what really modern Christmas songs sound like, and we probably won't be playing any of those. But anyway, we are in the spirit of Christmas. And as you've seen over the last couple of years, we have had some great things here. We've had Santa Claus on stage. We have had Christmas lights. Of course, the beautiful Stadseckers here. But this year, we really wanted to find out how to make or how to wrap these beautiful gifts. And I know, like many husbands, we are really awesome at wrapping presents. I am. I take the shopping, I take it to my wife, and I give it to her and say, could you please wrap this present? Or you can go over to Scripted Studios, and they will wrap your presents, and they get pretty amazing there too, I will tell you. So what I had asked for today, I talked to Carrie and said there's an opportunity to do some things for people like me who don't know how to wrap a box. So there's going to be some things for me. And I was so amazed when I first came to America, they gave you boxes at the store. That was a huge thing. Like, would you like a box? I'm like, I'd love a box. And you get a sweater, because if you wrapped a sweater or a t-shirt, you just wrap it and it'd be floppy. But they give you this box. It was so exciting. They gave you the box and you get the thing and you put a bow around it. So Christmas wrapping in this country is at a whole nother level. So for us, it's about that spirit of Christmas and all those Christmas things. So we've been really doing that. We've got some fun things planned for next year. Actually, we're hoping to talk a little bit about Christmas movies. And it was a great way to mention there's a fantastic new Christmas movie out in Hallmark this week. I think it was set in Buffalo, New York, and it was called A Bill's Christmas. So yes, we're all excited by that. Yes, I just thought I'd drop that in. And the Bills are playing who this weekend? Go Bills. And I've got the microphone. All right. I just thought I'd put there. We were talking about Christmas, and the Bills just happened to pop up. Any Pittsburgh fans here? All right, well, I'm moving on. So Christmas for us is a really important time of the year. It's about bringing people together, coming to eat, coming to drink together, and being around friends and family, and we really enjoy that for us here at the Fitness Center. So we're really excited today. You may have seen her on TV. She did TV for us on Monday, and she was absolutely delightful. You can see amongst us, we have some incredible things here. So can I please welcome to the stage Miss Carrie O'Neill Brenner, and we are going to wrap it up.
I'm so excited to be here today. And that lunch was delicious. Before we kind of dive into wrapping, we were just actually talking at our table about how when you're a child, how certain things are just in you, even from a child. And I would definitely say that wrapping has been with me since I was a child. I would, from the time that I was like 7, 8, 9, my mom is a huge Christmas person, and we would have the tree up super early, filled with the presents underneath, and every night I would lay on the floor, and I would take all the presents out and be like, tonight, I think I'm gonna organize them by height. And so I'd start with the tall in the back and then work my way forward and just kind of admire it. And then the next day, I'd take them all out again and be like, okay, tonight, I think I'm gonna do it by like what has ribbons and what doesn't have ribbons. And so that I'd have all the ribbons on this side and do it again by color or by pattern of the wrapping paper. So I think it was just one of those things that forever as a kid I loved, and I wish my kids knew about the amazing wrapping stations that used to be at the mall. I grew up near Cleveland, and we had Lazarus is what we had up there. And when you'd go to the basement of the Lazarus, and there would be that wall of packages with the bows, and you could say like, I'll take number 13 with this bow. And I thought if I could just grow up and work in the center of the mall, like every dream would be fulfilled. So it's like to be full circle and to own a little stationery and gift wrap shop here in Hamilton, and to not only be able to gift wrap things, but to design gift wrap that's been sold at national retailers is really a dream come true. So I'm so excited to be here with you today. I wanted to start first kind of showing, so this is some gift wrap that I designed that was for sale at Target several years ago. This was me at the Bridgewater Falls Target going to buy my own gift wrap, which was and there's like a tiny little picture of me actually on the gift wrap, so I had to show the guys. I was like, this is a picture of me on the gift wrap in the Target aisle. So that was like, you could go online and buy it and what it looked like. Then today, we're actually going to be wrapping some presents with this gift wrap that I designed this year that is over here. It's actually available on minted.com, which is one of the partners that I designed for. It's called Funk. We always have to give things a name, and I thought it looked kind of funky. So it's called Funk. So if anybody's ever interested, you can go on minted.com and you can search for Funk, and you'll find it. Let's just go back here to kind of chat. Okay. So before we actually get into the gift wrapping part, I wanted to kind of talk about just gift wrap in general. Probably goes back to being a kid and those days under the tree, but I tend to think of the presents similar to how people would decorate, like decorating the presents in a way that's similar to how people would decorate a tree. A lot of times people have a theme or a colorway, or it's all going to be vintage, or it's all going to be country, it's all going to be red. I tend to think of the presents under the tree in a very similar way, and because I like to change things up, just like I change the packages, I typically change that theme every year. So I kind of wanted to just show you some themes as idea starters. So this is a very, and I think they are all equally beautiful. This is a very simple, this is just with brown craft paper and newspaper. This newspaper is actually, at Scripted we sell, it's the North Pole Times you can buy. So it's like Santa newspaper, and there's like here's a ad for spa time it's called Spa Elf, and there's like all kind of word searches. Anyway, it's all themed around the North Pole because we have a little inn at the North Pole. So this is wrapped with the North Pole Express, but any newspaper would totally do. And I think it's a very cost-effective way to wrap presents, but also very festive and fun. And it allows you to bring in beautiful ribbons, like little bells. This is a great way to have like ornaments, things, little reindeer ornaments, things like that. So that was kind of one theme. I'm going to have, so my daughter Abby is with me today. And for those of you that you may or may not know, Scripted is actually now called Scripted and Polished. And Polished is a little non-toxic nail salon. So we don't do acrylics, and there's no, she would know better than I, but I'm not going to make her speak because she doesn't like speaking. But it's free of all the harmful chemicals that are in nail polishes. So that is what, so Polish is a non-toxic nail salon in the back of Scripted, if anybody's ever interested in getting your nails done. So Scripted is now Scripted and Polished. And my daughter Abby owns that. She went to Miami, Hamilton, actually here, the branch campus, and graduated in business. So she opened up that. She's going to kind of pass this around just so you can kind of see this a couple things a little bit closer. So that's that. Okay, so kind of one theme. Another thing just to kind of talk about here too, like the bow doesn't always have to go on the top. Sometimes I specifically, and I would even do this at my mom's house, I would go around and like tilt some of them sideways just because it looks prettier under the tree to not have, I know it's like the bow's supposed to be on the top, but I think sometimes it looks prettier on the side. So just something to think about. Another thing that's in right now is Ralph Lauren plaid. Have you guys heard that talked about? So it's just kind of those like deep, very traditional plaids. So this was kind of my take on that. I think you can kind of, so these are all just different plaids. There's not, I guess this one's repeated twice, but otherwise they're all different plaid papers. You could pick any theme. So it could be polka dots, or it could be, I'm going to do all stripes, or I'm going to do all Christmas trees. But if that's one way to kind of take a theme and really wrap it into what all your presents would look like. And this is a good time kind of to talk about bows too. I typically, if I'm doing more of like an uncoated paper or a newspaper, I go with more of like velvet bows or cotton bows, ones that aren't so shiny, versus if I'm doing more traditional this I think is more the finish of like traditional wrapping paper. Then I use more of a satin or silky bow just to kind of keep the shine versus keeping it natural. So that's kind of talking about those two. Then thirdly, I just want to talk about, so this is the one that I designed. I'll probably lose this clicker like I lose my keys. Oh, I have to point it there, right? Oh, there we go. Okay. So this paper that I designed, I also am a big one for following your heart. So if you're out shopping somewhere and you find a paper that you really, really love, whatever that is, I'm all for taking that one paper that you love and then building all the rest of it around it. So for instance, this, you can see over here, this uses the paper, but then you could have just a plain green or a plain pink or a plain red, or maybe there's a red polka dot paper. But I always say if you find something you love, and I would say the same thing for your house, if you find like one pillow that you really, really love, you can design the whole rest of the space around that pillow. So it's kind of the same with gift wrap. If you find one wrapping paper you love, I think you can lean into that and go all out with that. I also think this is kind of a fun one in that Minted, in addition to selling the gift wrap, they sell bows in the same pattern. So it allows you then to, I tend to not put the same bow on the same paper, but it's a way to like carry over that same look using the bow that matches that paper. And then I'm one for always sticking an ornament on stuff that kind of relates to that person. So my best friend went to Italy this year, so this would be a great present, these like Roma tomatoes on it. Or, you know, if she went to France, you could do a croissant or a little dog. Or we have some like vintage Holly Hobby kind of ornaments this year that are cute. Or these are also super sweet. They're little bars of soap in a cute little box that look really cute tied on. So those are those. Hey, Ab, I might have you just kind of take this around. Okay, so let's see if we can do this puppy. Am I going backwards? Okay. Okay, so in addition to designing wrapping paper at Target and wrapping paper at Minted, I've designed wrapping paper for Hamilton. And so a lot of people know this already. What you may or may not know is it all started with this Presbyterian church. I would pass that, I was going through divorce, I was living in Hamilton. Actually, I was living in this little yellow house. Was a house that I lived in, which is on Markham Park Square. And I have a little cat, Hazel. She's a white cat, and she's hard to see, but she's in the window of this house. And I would pass that church at Christmas time, and I was like, somebody needs to do something with that. It is so beautiful. Somebody needs to like make something with that church. And so I drew that church. And then once I drew the church, I was like, well, that was kind of fun. I should draw some more buildings. So it really kind of spurred on from that. This is also, this is scripted and polished, and now this is Aglameses, but at the time I drew it, it wasn't Aglameses. And there's a little tree, if you can kind of see in the window, and we have a tree at Scripted that holds all the ornaments in the window, so that's there, and then there's like a silhouette of Abby and I. It's very faint, but it's in that little shop there. So there were little things little personal things that I hid in there. So I did that, I want to say I did it probably 5 years ago. And then the following year, I did this one, which has like True West and is it the Lane Hooven House? Is that what this guy is called? I think. Yep. And this is just my favorite house that I would pass. Now I live in College Hill, and when I would drive in, I would turn onto D Street, and this is the sweetest little white house on the corner there, and I was like, oh. There are sometimes like things just would capture me that I, almost like the Presbyterian church, that I was like, that little arced part, somebody needs to do something with that. So we have that gift wrap. Every year, I've kind of turned them into different things, the patterns. So some years we've had them on cups. Some years we've had them on tea towels. This year, I was able to find a company that could put it on hot cocoa. So it's on little hot cocoa tins, which I thought was a sweet, like easy gift to take to somebody during the holidays. And then we also have a couple blankets left. So I brought both of those. They're all over there. You guys can check them out in a little bit. Okay, so now we're to the fun part of wrapping. I was hoping that I could so we're gonna wrap 3 different things, and I'm gonna try to do a little bit of basic stuff in for you, but I feel like that I'm with my people and that you probably know the basics. Am I correct in that? Don't count, okay, so I'll do a little bit of basics, but, okay. Would anyone like to be my first volunteer to come up and help? No? Okay, come on up. Yay! Okay. So, you will do great. I'm Carrie. Alyssa. This is Alyssa. You should talk to her because she's got amazing stories to tell. So we are going to wrap something primarily that's very simple and straightforward. There's just one little twist at the end, okay? And today we're just wrapping some empty cracker boxes. Don't be disappointed because most of those are empty as well. So I know Ian promised you those, but you will not be happy. Okay, so we're going to turn it over. And today we're going to use what we're going to wrap with is the Hamilton wrapping paper, okay? So does everybody know how to measure so you know how much wrapping paper you need? No? Okay. So we're going to talk about that just real quick. There's basically 3 ways that I know to do it. This paper, this is probably the hardest because it doesn't have any lines on the back of it. If you can get paper with the lines on the back of it, that's really what I prefer. And I always say, people always ask me if it's more important to have better scissors, better tape, better wrapping. And I always say the most important thing is the paper. Like if you go to the dollar store and you buy the paper, I know it's cheap, but it it doesn't cut straight and it rips and it doesn't fold nice. So I always say to invest in better paper than the other tools. But if you can get the lines, that's the preferred way. When you put something down on your paper, what you want to be able to do is fold it over and find the middle, okay? When there is the lines, you then can put it back and say like, okay, how many squares? I was 1, 2, 3, 4 squares on this side, so I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 squares on this side, and then that's where you would cut. But this one doesn't have the lines, so if I did the same thing, I would go over to the half. Then I try to find an object. So, for instance, I have these like boxes of tags. So I would put the box of tags on this side and be like, okay, it's like the box of tags and like one finger. So I would know I go on this side, do the box of tags, one finger, and then kind of cut. Those are kind of the two. I feel like there's a third way, but what am I? Do you guys do it a different way? Those are my kind of primary two ways. Roll, yes, that's the other way. You got to get past all four sides, so we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's going to get me there. While we're kind of talking about that same rolling thing, that tends to be also the way. So 1, 2, 3, 4. When I'm trying to decide how much ribbon I need, like if I want to go across and do the whole big bow, stay right here, I would, and there are multiple ways you can do this too, but I tend to go, whatever my shortest side is, I like go over it twice because I know I have to get like across the front and across the back. So I would do 1, 2, and then the long way, I go 3 times so that I have a little more for my bow. So I would go 1, 2, 3, and then that's where I would cut it. And that gives me enough to go around the package, wrap it around, and tie a bow. So it's 2 times on the short side, 3 times. And I don't know where I learned that, but I was doing it actually one day with my mom. I was wrapping presents, and I was like, oh, no. And she was like, what are you doing? And I was like, that's how I figure out how much ribbon I need. Yeah. Okay, so you have tape, I have tape. Okay, so we know we have the right amount of paper because we did the 1, 2, 3, 4, or the fake it, and that got us there. So we're going to take some tape, and I would say for the amount on the bottom, you never, for this in particular, we're probably going to leave, I would say, like 3 fingers width on the bottom for a box like this. You just want to be able to, whatever that is how much paper you're going to need for the bottom. So, yes.
I noticed she's got this gift wrap tape, and I normally use like the green.
That's a great question.
Does it matter?
The green sometimes have more of a, because I have the green over here. The green has like a little more of a sheen to it, and the gift wrap, when we rub it down, it kind of disappears a little bit more. So I tend to use the gift wrap for gift wrap. I also do sometimes use double stick, but not as much as a lot of other gift wrappers do. Most of the time I use the purple one. Okay. So I would move your package down a little bit so that we're, yep. And then we're going to put this to the middle and tape it. Another thing that I'm kind of a stickler about is just always kind of folding over those edges. So once I would tape it, I would then kind of, rub my fingers just to get that like nice corner. Okay. Then we're going to bring the other side up and tape it. And this paper is pretty stiff, so I would give you props because this isn't the easiest paper to wrap with.
When am I supposed to do this side? When do I crease it, before or after tape?
I normally do it after I tape it. Yeah. Okay. Now we're going to work on the bottom, so we're going to fold down that part, and you get kind of 2 wings on the side. Just so you guys know, the other demos that we do, I'm going to have a screen up here that kind of goes step by step. This one we're just, yep, you got it. And then we're going to bring those 2 in, the 2 corners. You're a total pro. And then I would pull that guy up and then tape it. This, in the end, is basically going to be a package with a handle on it. Okay? So now we have a lot more paper here than we need. You know, normally if you were wrapping a box, you wouldn't want this much paper on the end. Okay? But we're going to lay this down, and I would lay it, yep, that way, and kind of like flatten it out like that. So I just like, yep, you're right. Yep.
This is not staying even.
It's okay. We're not even going to see that part. Yep. So I just flattened it like that, okay? Then we're going to take a piece of ribbon, kind of find our middle. Yep. And we'll put it down there. Actually, we're going to put it up here at the top, okay? Doesn't matter because we're going to end up, and if I was following my kind of thought process, I would use more of, hers is more of a textural ribbon, which would be more what I've normally used than this satin ribbon, just because this is a kind of an uncoated paper. I then kind of tape it just to give myself an easier thing to work with. We won't see that in the end. I'm going to grab the double stick tape real quick. And now, once we have that tape there at the top, we're basically just going to roll this down. And I would give it like a good fold after each roll. Yep. Yep, you're right. Ooh, do I sound okay? Am I okay? Yep, you're perfect. Then, here's actually these little wings we can kind of flap. You're right. Yep. And then let's unfold it one time. And this is an example of where I would use double stick tape under this like last fold. So before I, yep. Yep, you got it. And then we're going to tie a bow.
This is fancier than I've ever done.
You're doing awesome. I'll hold it for you.
And tight, like,
You can, let's tie it tight, because then it'll be a good, yeah, it'll
you
be,
make it a bow.
yeah.
I did learn this in first grade. I swear.
You're doing awesome.
Like that.
Yeah. And we could, yep, you fluff, and I'll get the scissors if it needs a little haircut. So then I would probably in the end, yeah, make them kind of the same. Yeah, there you hold it up and give it a little. You did great. It looks wonderful. Yeah. So that's most of it. 3/4 of it is how you're used to wrapping it. It's just that other end you kind of changed up. Okay.
Thank you.
Good job. Do you want to take your present? Yes. Ab, do you want to? Yeah. Let me give it one more piece of tape here. Okay, so next up is we're going to wrap a book, and I did this one on TV on Monday, but we're going to do it much slower today. So if anybody saw it on Monday, we're going to do it slower today, but I need another volunteer. Come on up. Oh. Okay. So, we're going to do a book today, but this would really, I'm Carrie.
I'm Roxanne.
Roxanne. This is Roxanne. Nice to meet you. We're going to do a book, but this really could be a box would work just as well for this. Okay, so for this one, we're going to use. The other thing I would say, kind of while I'm back over here real quick, is I think whenever you can invest in plain papers are great. So like this plain red, obviously you could see that this plain red could pretty much go on any of these packages or any of these kind of themes and be wonderful. So a plain red or a plain craft, plain green, I think those are really good, versatile things to have that you can get a lot of use out of. Okay, for some reason, there's only one piece here. It is not enough to share, but maybe I was going to do mine in brown. I don't know. Yeah? We'll do it together. How about that? Okay. So I'll do this side, and then let's swip sides. I'll do one side, and you do the other side. Okay? So first, we're going to take the paper. You can kind of see on there. We're going to pull back the paper like probably 3/4 of the way down the book. And we're putting the book in the center. Then we're going to take one side, and this takes a little, nope, we're not going to do that part yet. You're getting ahead of yourself. We're going to take one side. I'll do my side, and then you do your side, because it's kind of tricky. But I'm basically, like from this corner, pulling it back and making that side, this side come up like that. Okay? And then I would crease it, and I'm going to bring it in the front. Okay? And then just while I'm over here, I would get it nice and tight against the box or book, and we're going to push it out that way. And then while we're here, I'm just going to put a little piece of tape there. Okay? Okay, so now you do your side. Mm-hmm. Perfect. Yeah, this is nice paper. This is a little easier to work with than the other one. So we've made the two corners. We're kind of down at the bottom of the first row. It's all going to get covered up, which is nice. Yep. That's the hardest part of this one, is that first fold. Okay. So now we have this nice piece at the end. We're just going to fold that over. And I'm like pulling it pretty tight and taping it. Okay. And then, yep. Yep. Isn't this cute? So I would use this, especially for a book, or if I was giving, trying to think of other good examples for whenever there's like other accessories that you're going to give with something. So this is a cookbook, so we're going to end up putting some kitchen utensils in those little pockets. But you could definitely do it for other, if you were wrapping up, let's say it was a video game that you were doing this with, although video games are probably pretty small right now. But you could stick in a gift card or a book. Yeah. So whenever there's like little other accessories, then now that I'm at the bottom, I'm just doing like a normal gift wrap fold. And you might have to do a little bit of cleanup, like that little guy. Do you put double stick tape there?
No, I
You teach me.
No. I do this.
Uh-huh.
Because that would drive me nuts. And then
Yeah.
flat back.
Yeah. And do you use double stick tape or do you use
I
regular?
don't. I
Yeah,
use
I'd
regular.
use regular too.
But I could see why you would want them.
Yeah, for there. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's why I tend to like the gift wrap one. I just feel like I can get like a tighter pull if I use the gift wrap tape. Okay. So then once we get to the front, so this was a cookbook that I was giving somebody, but then it creates these folds that I can stick in like little kitchen utensils or a little candy cane or a little, if you had a card, that said who it was from, you can stick all that stuff in. Yeah. And you don't need I mean, you could, if you wanted, still add, like, I'm still up for adding a bow, so we could always, you could tie a big ribbon around it, and it would be beautiful, but you don't need it. And I feel like a lot of times with gifts, I have, like, extra stuff. I don't know, I just think it makes it, and cute. Yeah. So that's that guy. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. No, you don't, because this is actually, so my parents are coming to our house for Christmas, and I was trying to think of what we could use to wrap today, and I was like, oh, I know my mom bought me a Magnolia cookbook. So I went upstairs in her guest bedroom in our house and dug through stuff to find it. So this one's going under my presents. Thank you. Okay, then we have one more. Yeah, come on up. Oopsie. Yeah. And what's your name? Jennifer. This is Jennifer. I am Carrie, and I love, what a cool Jack. That's awesome. Where'd you get it at? Yes, yes. Yeah, yeah. They're so good. Yeah. This last thing we're gonna do is, if you have, there's always those like awkward shape things that you have that like don't fit in a box, and you can always use a bag. Is kind of the standard, but this is like an alternative to using the bag. And especially if you're kind of going with a theme like that, you don't always have a bag that matches the visual theme that you're going with. So, so yeah, so this is where we're going to wrap today, are these two guys, okay? Let me forward our thing real quick. Okay. I know it's a little tricky to see, but gives you kind of an idea. So just like you would with a box, we would normally, to figure out how much paper you needed, just the same thing. You want this to be able to go to like the center. So you want, okay? So I'm going to take these aside just for a second. Good, good, good. That's good. Okay. So these are basically going to go to the center, but one needs to overlap the other a little bit. So I would take one, kind of guess where the center is, and we're going to make a fold. And so I'm overlapping it probably like 1/2 inch to an inch, enough that when we tape it, it's not, yeah. I know it's tricky on this table. That's good. I appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, yours is, okay. Then this one's going to need a lot of tape. So I almost try to tape this whole thing. And if you can't do it all in one, because I can't, sometimes when it gets stuck to me, and so I do like a couple pieces to get it all the way up there. But again, this is overlapping. We're kind of at step number 2. We're just making sure that that paper is overlapped. And taping it up pretty good the whole way. Yeah, let's do it all the way to the top. Okay? Then, like, if I'm thinking that this guy's going to go in here, I'm just kind of looking about, he has to have enough for him to sit, so I'm just kind of gauging where that bottom's going to be. I would say, like, around here. So we're going to fold that, fold it up like this. So all I've done is take this and I'm just folding it up. Okay? Okay. Now we're going to basically take this and we're opening it like that. And we want to fold it. For some reason. you mind if I show yours? Because it looks perfect. It's perfect. So now we've taken that, you know, this was this. We folded it up, and then we opened it up like this. Okay? The next part that we're going to do is we're going to fold part of this up and part of that down, and then make that bottom. So now we're at the second row. Yep. For some reason mine is. Yeah, beautiful. And you're trying to get it, I'm going to show yours again. No, it's good. Yep. So this is what the bottom looks like, if you guys can see, once those are folded over pretty well. And then this is another, like this one I go heavy on the tape because you don't want your package to fall out the bottom. Once it's all taped up, we can kind of lift it up, and it takes a little like shaking to get that. Yep. Okay, so now we'll put our packages in. I'll give you this guy. I'll do this guy. Okay, so just like the very first package that we have a lot left over here, so you can kind of see we still have quite a bit. All we're gonna do on the top, and I'm gonna do it laying down, but I'm just gonna show you. We're just gonna accordion fold like back and forth this top part, but it's easier laying down. Yeah, I would say like an inch. It is different when because you see it and you're like, oh, I could do that, but then it's just the actual doing of it. And depending on how big your package is, kind of depends on how far down we can go with the accordion fold. Aww. And people have asked for the pill. Aww. Okay, so once we get it accordion folded, yeah, I tend to leave it like flat, like that's gonna be easier for this next part. We're basically gonna, like, you gotta kind of crease it to get that center. And I would, yep. And then we're gonna bring these two sides together. And then you just tape that seam. I'll help in 1 sec, sorry. You got it. Yeah. I tape it kind of down my whole thingamabobber. But it turns out like super pretty, and you could always add a bow, or again you have like a little hole there that you could, if you had an ornament like for a dog lover, there is like a little space there that you could always like thread him back in there and tie him tape him would be super cute. But I think it looks beautiful for like a makeshift bag. Yeah, so that's a good one for odd-shaped packages. Yeah. So then you have like a nice. You should be at the one up here.
Yeah, that's my only.
She's giving me a hard time about how I wrapped a package. No, she's giving me some extra pro tips for starting on the first package where I start in the center. Sometimes you can start on the edge and then you don't have that seam in the back. That's how you know you're legit. Did you work at Lazarus in the?
No, but I did work at Getting Jenny, and you have to
Start at the.
up there. I worked at Neiman Marcus, I think is where the extra was, and then I also used to step in the holidays at So people would get in my line.
To have the nice,
Because I would start it on the corner.
yeah.
And it just looked.
I never learned that way. I never learned the way of starting on the corner, but I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah, and then it goes away. You just fold it like.
And do you use double stick tape or no?
I haven't, but I've thought about
Okay.
it. But I'm just afraid that it's gonna
Tear, like not stay.
get roughed up.
Yeah,
So especially since it's on the corner.
yeah.
But yeah, people can't find the seam that easy.
Thank you. Ian, do we have time for questions? Okay.
Do we have any questions for Carrie? Oh, always the
I'm
person
an
up the
open
back
book,
of the-
so I ask away.
You can ask her anything. It doesn't have to do with the wrapping
doesn't?
paper or anything at all. What the score is going to be on the Bills-Bengals game this weekend?
The Bengals are gonna win.
I want to know if you do anything with curling ribbon, because that's
Say-
what my grandma always did our packages with.
Ian, I can't hear.
My grandma always used curling ribbons, and I just wondered if you did anything with curling ribbon.
You know what? I don't know why, but I tend to use curling ribbon for birthday parties because I think it looks more like fun and birthday-ish. You know, that's where you take the scissors and do that strip. I don't do it as much at Christmas time, but I do use curling ribbon a lot for birthdays. But I don't do anything like out of the ordinary with them other than just, I like a lot of them. So if I'm going to do it, I'd like to do a whole lot. So it's like a big, almost like a pom-pom. Yeah, and long. Like one of my favorite lines, does anybody know what this is from? 6-inch ribbon curls. Does it? Yes, yeah, that's like one of my favorite lines from Elf.
6
'cause it's
inches.
6 inches.
Elf.
Right now, I have a giant baby stroller sitting in my hallway
Yeah,
that cannot be assembled before this is not Christmas, but a baby shower.
yeah,
It's too heavy to even move.
yeah.
What do you suggest? I've thought about maybe just throwing a baby blanket around.
Well,
it,
that's
but-
okay. So I want to. Yes, what I was going to say is a baby blanket. So, picture this as a very miniature version of a baby blanket. Okay.
Oh, very.
So we have at the shop these like beautiful French scarves that just came in that I think are gorgeous. That say peace and love, and they have a little bird on them, which I would tie on like my bag or around my neck. But I always think it's kind of fun when the wrapping is also part of the gift, almost like that the book was. So this is a little deck of like all occasion cards. So if this was like a very miniature version, I think you could do the same thing with the baby blanket, and your big box is, you know, just wrapping the baby. I mean, the hardest part, I guess, would be you'd have to get underneath the box for the stroller. Yeah, any of that kind. I mean, I think it's fun when what you give is like part of the gift is the wrapping. So I think that's what I would do is either a blanket. I think is gonna. I don't know if it would have to be a full. It could even be a blanket for the family that you could get, because a baby blanket might be too small to get around. But you could give like, here's a blanket for you for when you're cuddling all together on the couch with your new baby, and so that it was a big blanket. And I also feel like at Christmas time, there's lots of websites for like personalization. So if you knew if it like, I don't know if you know, then sometimes people get weird about putting the name on stuff, but it could just have even the family name, the Brenners, whatever the family is. You could even put that on it, kind of personalize the blanket. But I think I would use some sort of fabric, would probably be my recommendation. Good question. Those are hard. All those, like when they get a bike for Christmas, when they get those big things.
Great question. Got one right here, Ms. Zollner.
Now, where is it that we find your show?
So I don't have a TV show.
Well, okay.
Not yet. Not yet.
That'll be coming.
So I have a shop. So I have a store down the street that's called Scripted, and it's next to, this is the website, but it's next to Aglamisi. So it's just over the bridge, just a little bit. We're open Tuesdays through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Sundays from noon to 4. What's the last? Yeah. So you can always find me there. My design side of the business is O'Neill Designs. So if you ever want to look up more of like what I'm designing, that would be o'neilldesigns.com. mint.com. But I appreciate that you think I have a show.
So I understand Matt Rucker's grandparents used to own that store when it was a grocery store. Is that correct, Matt? Used to be a grocery store back in the day owned by Matt Rucker's parents. So we have a little lineage in the room.
I love that. Yeah, we were talking before.
I think that's fantastic. And what about, do you have like a YouTube channel or a TikTok account and things like that so people can
I
see
have
you doing all the cool
Instagram,
things?
But I'm not quite cool enough yet for TikTok or...
If only you had a young person in your life who could take care of all of that. Lovely.
Yes, yeah, you definitely, if you get on Pinterest and look up wrapping paper ideas, all this stuff will be there. And I know that you can do it all. It's like sometimes they do it so fast, you might have to stop it a little bit, but Pinterest is a treasure trove with tons of more ideas than just this.
I'd just like to give out a warning,
Yikes.
a really serious warning. There was once a little boy who believed in Santa, but then he noticed that all the wrappings of his Christmas presents were in his mother's spare room on the bed, the same wrapping paper that Santa had used on his presents. And he went to his mummy and said, I don't think there is a Santa. You're Santa. You're wrapping the presents. They're all there. The paper's all in the spare room. I just found it.
Oh. I do have kind of something, advice for that. So when my kids were little, I didn't want that to happen, and so I tried to, it was before I owned a store or anything, but I was like, where do you get those big, like, bolts of wrapping paper, like when you go to the stores? And so I ordered a huge bolt of wrapping paper that was red and white stripes, and only used that at Christmas time, and then it went away with the Christmas decorations. So every Christmas for their entire lives, Santa wrapped in the same exact paper, and it was only used at that time, so it was put away with the Christmas decorations. The place was called Nashville Wraps, was where I could buy, I mean, it was literally like a huge bolt to be able to wrap like years and years and years and years of packages with.
So
but I knew, I wanted Santa to always wrap it the same way.
That's some quality parenting right there, I might just add. Well done. Nice that some people take the time. Do we have any other questions? Any other questions, thoughts? We got one here from Ramona.
You say that you have a design company on the side.
Yes.
So tell me, how did you think that this is what you wanted to do? Like, how did you come to own a shop and then have this design on the side? Because you obviously have some training in graphic design, yes?
It's a great question. So I went to Ohio State, OH, for design, and I always loved designing. You know, I designed my wedding invitations and things like that, but I didn't really think that was a profession. I didn't think anybody actually, I didn't think that was a valid path until it was a Thanksgiving weekend. I was at my in-laws, and I had brought a bunch of magazines because I knew there would be downtime, so I had a Martha Stewart Living magazine I had brought with me and was flipping through the magazine and saw a Christmas card ad for a company called Minted. And the ad was pretty, and I thought, oh, well, that's like, I'll remember that when I get back home. I'll look up what that minted.com is. And so I looked it up, and I saw what they had, and there was a little tab that said design challenges. And so I thought, oh, I wonder what it is, and clicked on it, and it was basically they would have design challenges to source products to sell on their website. And so the first challenge this was like November, the first challenge didn't start till January, but I kept checking like randomly and then entered the challenge and ended up winning, and it was for personal stationery, so stationery that would just have your name on it. And how Minted works is that they basically, almost like if you think of a musician, so they buy the rights to my design, and then I earn royalties every time someone purchases it. Just so like a musician would earn money when their music is played, I earn royalties when that design would sell. And I can remember my first paycheck came, and it was $13.56. And I was like, I just got $13.56 from like somebody buying my stationery that I didn't think you could ever earn money off of. And that, like, I think it was a little bit of a light bulb. Even though it was a very, very small amount of money at that time, I could see the potential that, okay, I made that off of one card. So if I continued down that path and had more and more and more and kind of grew the inventory. So actually last year, their biggest challenge of the year is their Christmas contest to design Christmas cards. So last year I was actually the winner of the Christmas card challenge, which had over 9,000 entries, and there were 2 million votes to determine who the winner was. And just for comparison, the winner this year was from Paris, France. So like the fact that it was Hamilton, Ohio, like in 2024, and then Paris, France in 2025 was a big deal. And so, yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Do you want to tell anybody about your auditions at Ohio State? Anybody?
And so my claim to fame of all these things is that I was the first female to ever try out to be Brutus Buckeye when I went to school. and somehow that's like stuck with me all these years. I didn't get picked, rightfully so, because I did not do a good job auditioning. The head smells like nastiness. I can't say on a stage what that head smells like, but it is not good. There's multiple heads. And what I couldn't do was you had to do, every time they, at least back then when they would score a touchdown, Brutus would have to do push-ups. And I know now, and for going through the process, you have to be a tall, there have been like 3 girls now that have done it. They're all like 6 foot or higher. Because my arms, I was like the same size as the head by the time, so I was like, I couldn't do it. I tried, I couldn't do it. But that's my claim to fame.
Nice work in the Michigan zone this weekend. So. Any other questions before we wrap it up? Oh, see what I did there? Well, Carrie, thank you so very much.
So
we
very
really,
welcome.
really appreciate it.
So welcome.
Carrie O'Neill Brennan, thank you so much. Tell us again where we can find Scripted Studio School.
So scripted. So I've brought a bunch of stuff with me.
Yep.
If anybody wants to find a mini Scripted over here, but normally we are at 306 Main Street, right next to Aglamisi's.
Scripted and polished.
Scripted and polished.
Well, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please, Carrie O'Neill.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Well, thank you for coming out. We hope you're having a fabulous Christmas. We are doing reindeer games on Friday night. Next Saturday night, we are doing a pop rock Christmas, and we've got a little time off. And next month, we're going to be doing the Donut Trail, and our good friends from Travel Butler County. We're going to find out about all the amazing things happening in this area, plus donuts as well. We'll see you very soon. Thank you very much.